Hey guys, it's Jeremy Felt from Harvest Realty. Today's video, I want to talk about what do you do after buying a home? We spend so much effort on staging. We're listing a home. What do? We're looking at buying a home. What are the process for that? We're under contract. What are all the hoops we need to jump through with that? But also, we want to think about, okay, we did close. Everything was funded, went well. The closing was successful. Now we got a new home. Now what do we do? So what do we do after buying a home? Even if you're not moving out of area, you may be, just 3 houses down from where you were previous living. We still need to make sure that we do an address update with the list of this, but also maybe some other things you need to consider. The post office. You want to make sure that where you moved from, those people are not getting your mail. That's very annoying, I guess, for lack of a better word. If you move into a new place and you're still getting the old owner's mail and constantly having to call or forward or figure out how you're going to get that to them, it can just be kind of a nuisance. And you don't want your mail going somewhere else, especially if it's really important. Yeah, you were supposed to get a check. You were supposed to get this important information, but it went to the wrong address and never made it. And so update your address as soon as possible. You may have to get some, if you have a mailbox key, you may have to get those re-keyed at the post office. Just take your closing papers and say, hey, I'm the new owner of this address. I need a new key, and they can get you taken care of. The DMV, updating your driver's license and going through the DMV because you may have moved to a new voting district, or again, if they don't have the updated address, your old address is getting your ballots and things like that, or maybe even your license plate tags and things like that. So you want to make sure that you update with the DMV. Your contacts. So people, they might send you mail or have that. They have the old address. You want to go through, just like when you get a new email or phone number, one of the first things you do is get in touch with everyone that you stay in contact with and say, hey, erase this old phone number. Here's my new phone number. You want to do essentially that same thing with your address. Your employer, if you're staying at the same job, make sure they have the new address. So that way, again, they don't have outdated contact information for you. The IRS, some other things like, Amazon. If you order a lot from Amazon and you get in the habit of just add to cart, check out, send, they may have the old address. You want to go in and update that. Your credit card. Again, if you're going to the credit card and ask for, your zip code and you've moved zip codes and you got to punch it in and say, oh, it's not matching the one on the card. Oh, I forgot to update my address. So just some different things that you want to consider when updating your address. Maybe you are in a new area and you have to think about what are some of the new things. Now, a lot of this you've probably done beforehand. You don't want to move to a brand new area and then figure out if you like it or hope you like it. Oh, I thought it was going to be sunny days and beach vacations, but it's in the middle of nowhere at negative 20 degrees. Okay, nothing wrong with that if that's what you wanted, but do your research of the area and make sure that it's what you want. But let's say it's a brand new job, happened fast, you didn't have time to do the research, you've now bought a new home. What are some of the things you want to look at? Okay, maybe if you have school-aged children, you're going to need to research the schools. What are options available? The public schools, charter schools, can they school of choice to different ones? What are the performance ratings of those schools? That's important. Finding a church that has the same belief system that you do, obviously that's going to be important. If church and faith, and that's a big part of your life, you move to a new area, that's still going to continue to be a big part of your life. Gym, recreation areas, you're too far away to go to your old physician, you need to find a new doctor. How are you going to go about doing that? Dentist, anyone that you see for those types of reasons, you want to make sure if you're in a new area that you get, because some physicians, doctors, dentists may not even be taking new patients. So you got to figure out where you can get those services from. Then any other professional services, anything that you think about, your daily and weekly routine, everything that you have, obviously you're still going to have those same things, just now in a new location. So considering that, researching those, that's going to help you settle in to your new place. I would always recommend familiarizing yourself. Maybe it is, I traveled there all the time. I have family from there. I know the area pretty well. That's great. It may be completely brand new to you. I would recommend finding parks, shopping centers, restaurants. I recommend, it sounds weird, but driving the roads, maybe at night or slower travel at times. I wouldn't go in the middle of rush hour because that's obviously stressful and not enjoyable. But go when there's not a lot of cars out, maybe late at night, early in the morning. Just drive around, take some different routes. How do I get from my house to work? Are there other routes? How do I get to the gym? What are the interstate systems like? What's some of the quicker ways to get from point A to point B? I was in a large city once and we had to catch a flight. And thankfully, it was at like 2 a.m. So there was absolutely no cars on the vehicle or no vehicles on the road. But it was the Dallas Fort Worth area, and the interstate system there was so confusing to me. I'm from a smaller town, and it was overwhelming, even being the only car on the road. You had the voice directions tell you to get off here, but then as you got off there, that was actually the on ramp for another interstate, and it just felt like you were whipping back and forth across 2 or 3 lanes. So maybe you're from a smaller area moving to a bigger city. Again, I would familiarize yourself with that. Look at a map, look at an overview, drive the actual routes a few times just to get comfortable with that. Meet your neighbors. I know it sounds like older generational thing that people don't really like to do anymore, but it's a good idea. Go next door, meet your neighbors, introduce yourself. Hey, I'm moving in. It's just a good idea. We've met all the neighbors around us. We wave at them as we go. If they're leaving town, they'll let us know, hey, we're going to be gone for a couple of weeks. Hey, we'll put the trash can in and out for you. No big deal. Just simple things can make you feel more comfortable when you move in. And then introduce yourself to the new places you go, the staff at your kid's school, or if they go to daycare, if you don't have kids, going to the gym, church, your new job, obviously that's going to take care of itself. But just, get out there. It's kind of that new kid at school feeling, which no one really loves. But once you get through that initial kind of uncomfortable period, it'll start to settle down and be a lot easier. At home, some of the things I would recommend doing, changing the locks. It's not very expensive, but you got all of the keys at closing, hopefully. But how do you not know that those people in the home for 20 years? Maybe they gave it to one of their kids or nephews or cousins or something without even realizing it, and there's still a few keys out there. Again, not saying someone's gonna, the day you close, come break into your house. Obviously that is not going to happen, but changing the locks just for your own peace of mind, making sure that you have accounting of all of the keys and know where they are and things like that. It's a pretty simple thing to do. Update any subscriptions that you have. If you need to transfer cable and internet, things like that. If, again, you have subscriptions that come to you, maybe you have some sort of medications that get delivered to you every week or every month. You obviously want to get those. So update any of those with whoever you need to. I would locate all shut-off valves, breaker boxes, and things like that before you move in. Like, lift the lid. Where is it? Okay, let's say, there's a leak in the roof, swamp cooler. Where would I go to the shut-off valve for that? Where's the hot water heater? And different things like that. You may be able to get some of that information from the inspection report, or if you ask the inspector as you're going through. But make note of it. Just when something's happening, there's a water break or something, you got to shut off the water. You're kind of in panic mode, and that's not the time you want to kind of peruse your way through the house and find the shut off valve. So knowing where it is, just making kind of a mental note or a physical note of that is going to make things easier if you ever need to shut anything off. I would take an inventory of your belongings, just making sure once you get moved in, when you moved out, what did you have? Does it match when you moved in? If you hired professional movers or did it yourself, just kind of take an inventory of everything just to make life a little bit easier. And then file away all of your closing documents and your tax documents. The title company and the realtor you worked with should have copies of those. In Colorado, we're supposed to keep them up to 4 years. I know for the IRS can go back to 7 years, but I would just recommend keeping them forever. So a good agent's going to have them forever, because if something comes up, even if it's 5 years down the road, it's better to have it and not need it than the alternative. So file those away, keep them so that way if anything comes up, you'll have it. So yeah, that's kind of the things that you want to do right as soon as you get into the new home. We're all celebrating the closing, getting the new home. It's exciting, but there's some things. It's kind of as I say, the finish line to one part of it, but then the new starting line of another part. So it's really important to take care of those things. Thanks, you guys. Hope you have a good day, and we will talk to you soon.